Okay. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm not sure if anybody's in the live chat now. Um, I've never done one of these by myself before, so I'm a little out of sorts because I'm doing this on a whim. So first, I just want to say a massive thank you. I'm at 5,000 subscribers, and that's utterly bananas. I can't. I just almost wrecked my desk. Sorry. So it's crazy. And I just want to say thank you to every single subscriber who has taken the time to watch any of the videos I've done either on this channel or on other channels. And I really appreciate it. It still kind of floors me. I started the channel back in May, and the fact that we're at 5K already is just completely and utterly astounding to me right now. I also wanted to make a few announcements before I get into the thank yous that I have and the Q&A. The first announcement that I have is that I launched a Discord server. So the Discord server link is in the description of this video. It just launched today. There's already a few people over there hanging out, which is really cool. I also put the link on Twitter. What I plan on doing is once a month, I am going to be doing like a public live chat hangout, a voice chat hangout there. So it'll be open to anybody who's in the server to just kind of come in and hang out. And also, I have to apologize. It's not yet linked to my Patreon. I'm manually linking people now, but for all of those amazing people who are patrons of the channel, you have a special room on the Discord server where we can chat directly. And I'm going to try to have a once a month voice chat with just patrons too, if anybody's interested in coming in and hanging out with me and having a chat. So that is the primary announcement I have. Hopefully you guys will go over to the Discord server. It's a great place to keep in contact with me directly. Twitter gets a little bit crazy and it's sometimes hard to connect with me directly and have a free-flowing conversation there, but the Discord server will make that a little bit easier. I also wanted to say a big thank you to anybody who subscribed to me later in the game, which I guess is like 4 or 5 months in, because I've only had the channel for 4 or 5 months. Initially, I wasn't going to have a channel. I kind of floated around on other channels. I was on Paulogia's channel a couple of times, but a fair bit. I worked in the background a lot. I was also hosting a series on Steve McRae's channel on the Great Debate Community and was co-hosting the Heathen Hour, which I still am. We have a new channel. There's a link to that in the description, which is, I guess, another announcement. Heathen Hour has its own channel now. So please, if you like this channel and you like the Heathen Hour and you're wondering where it is, it's moved to its own channel. So it's no longer on Godless Cranium's channel. But yeah, so I wasn't going to have a channel. I had 1,000 subscribers subscribe to me without any video content. And I said if I hit 1,000 subscribers, I would start making videos. And I have. And it's been pretty amazing since it started. And I just really wanted to say thanks and see if anybody had any questions and announce the launch of the Discord server. Anybody who watches this channel knows how fantastic I am at following the chat. I have it open on the side, so I am going to go look. Oh, I see Paul asked if there were any questions. So I guess right now there aren't any questions. I don't know what to do if there aren't any questions. I could keep saying thank you to people. I can thank my patrons. My patrons are fantastic, and they are helping me save up for a new laptop. My laptop died, so I had to refurbish a computer. That is from 2008. So all of the Patreon money that I have been saving up has been going towards getting a new laptop so that I can improve the channel content because this computer isn't so fantastic. I also did buy some lighting, which I don't have set up right now, and I bought a green screen. So that's gonna help with the quality of some of the videos going forward. So being able to invest in the channel like that is really amazing. And I thank you all so much. Oh, I see a tag. I'm going to be awful at this. I'm really sorry. I'm super awkward when I don't have somebody to talk at. Oh, hi, Wellington. Shannon, what content is up and coming this year? So I have 2 videos in the works. I just finished a couple of collaborations. One of them's with a guy you guys probably know, but that one's a secret, but that should be out relatively soon. I just did one for Mr. Atheist that I finished today, and I'm also doing one for the Atheist Edge. They are doing a book review from a fairly well-known apologetics book, and I'm doing that with several content creators, so that's been taking up a great deal of my time. But I have a video in the works right now, 2 actually. One of them is a response video to a Christian ministry that was making some claims about depression. And that came up from a collaboration that I did on a Sir Skeptics and Ocean Keltoys podcast. That exposed me to that video, and I felt like it was worthy of a response because of some of the claims that were being made. And I'm also going to be doing a video on the psychology of deception. That one is taking me a little bit longer. I don't have a great deal of free time. I do work full time, and I have a 7-year-old, so I do this in my spare time. This is a weird hobby. This is what this is. And yeah, so those are the 2 videos that I have in the works right now. I'm also going to be having John from Stated Clearly on at some point to have a conversation about some of his opinions on Sam Harris's new meditation app. So that's what I have in the works right now. Oh, I see tags now. Shannon Kendall. Shannon, has 1017 affected your life? Oh, no, not at all. I don't smoke weed. So, I mean, no, not really. Not at all. Yeah, no. The lineup at the liquor stores around here got really, 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 really long on Wednesday because people were waiting to go buy their weed, and I didn't go to the liquor store on Wednesday. So far, no, it hasn't affected my life. Journeyman, you have a great voice for tube. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I have a very, very maritime accent. It comes out a lot. If I have a couple drinks, it becomes really prominent. But I try to keep it on the down low when I'm doing the YouTubes so that I don't sound so much like a hick. Okay. Oh my gosh, it goes by so fast. Is that where it's being sold out at liquor stores? Yes, Beach. Hi, Beach. Hi, Beach. Yeah, it is in Nova Scotia. It's different in every province. In Nova Scotia, they selected a few liquor stores initially to roll it out. So right now, that's where you go to get it here. The only place you can get it is a dispensary if you have a medical card. Although I don't buy it, so I don't know. I think you can go into a dispensary now without a medical card, but I'm not sure. But you can get it at the liquor store. But the age is different. I'm pretty sure you have to be 21. I'll be 37 in December, so that should be all right. But yeah, no, it doesn't affect it. Nothing's any different around here. Like the apocalypse didn't come. The only difference is now there's going to be more tax money in the economy. Other than that, everything's pretty status quo. But I mean, it's only been 3 or 4 days. The world hasn't fallen apart yet. Shannon, Wellington again. Hi, Wellington. Shannon, do you have any guests, co-hosts, collabs in the works? Well, a couple of the collabs that I just mentioned, I've always got the Heathen Hour. Heathen Hour is every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern now on the Heathen Hour channel. This weekend, Creationist Cat's on the Heathen Hour, which is kind of cool. But unfortunately, I won't be there this weekend. They're going to have a co-host. And I just finished one for Dear Mr. Atheist channel, who also hit 5K this weekend. So congrats to him. He's a really cool guy. You should go sub to his channel too. And I'm doing one with the Atheist Edge that I just finished. And I already kind of spilled it. I'm doing one with Paul. I just finished doing one with Paul. Sorry, Paul. I'm doing one with Paul. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. Nacho Witness. Hi, Nacho Witness. There's another person whose channel you should subscribe to. Shannon. Don't have really any questions, Shannon Q. Just want to say you're awesome. Oh, thanks. Thanks. 18 is the federal minimum. Most provinces is 19. I really I don't know the pot laws. Maybe I should. I should. Like, my kid's 7, so I'm not worried about him strolling in and getting any, and I don't smoke it. It just makes me feel weird and paranoid. Okay. So Beach Price asked, thanks, Paul. Paul's aggregating questions that I missed. He's taking care of me. Thanks, Guy. Beach Price asked, what does Shannon think of scrolling through scientist tag on Twitter to look for people who will probably love to come on to talk about their work? Oh, that would be really cool, actually. One of the places that I've talked to, if in the links in all my descriptions, there's links to support groups for people that are coming out of religion. And I spoke to, it wasn't the Clergy Project, it was, let me see, what was the name? Recovering from Religion. Yeah, I talked to the people from Recovering from Religion, and they're interested in coming on. It's just a matter of working at a time that works for both of us. So I'm probably going to be doing that sometime in the near future. I have lots of people that I want to talk to. It's hard to find a balance between doing the edited videos, which are really, really important to me because I like to be able to concisely get out my thoughts and really address the psychological claims, and also having the chats that I think are really important. I don't want to have somebody on just for the sake of, filling the time on the channel. I don't. So you'll notice that my content isn't relatively consistent, and I don't have a consistent posting time because essentially I start a video whenever I get the inclination, and I really, really research it to make sure that I'm on strong footing and that I can post all of the links in the description and know that I'm standing on solid ground, which takes a while. I've got to read through all of the research, compile all the research, and then script from that. So I don't want to rush anything out and have it not be good just for the sake of content. The same goes with talks. I don't want to just have somebody on just for the sake of making sure that I can have a live stream. I only really have them when something interesting comes up. Perhaps I should be, I spend a lot of time collabing with other channels and going on other people's channels. Like this Thursday, I'm going to be on Modern Day Hysteria's channel, for example, and doing live streams. So I dedicate significantly more time to other people's channels than I do to mine, which is fine. I do this for a purpose. So, this isn't a career for me. What I really ultimately wanted to do was be able to have more productive conversations and also model more productive conversations and really, really directly address some of what I thought were the really nefarious sort of psychological claims and bigoted biases that we see that are prevalent against atheists. And in order to do that, I wanted to cover as much area as I could. So that doesn't always mean posting in this channel. Sometimes I'm elsewhere, but I do try to maintain a playlist on this channel that has all of my guest appearances. There's one for Paulogia. There's one for any live streams that I've been on. I'm not as good as I used to be at maintaining that. I'm trying to get better, but I update there where I am. I also do, if you are a patron, I do a State of the Union because I thought it was really clever, like State of the Union, only with a Q, where I post the dates and times and channels where I'm going to be appearing, so that people, if they're interested in seeing me having conversations or seeing what I'm contributing to, can go and see it. And I try to link to that through Twitter, but it's usually a relatively long list, so I can't always fit it in Twitter. So the Discord might be good for that too, because it'll give me an opportunity to post, what I'm up to if anybody's interested, and give you a chance, if you're following me, to be exposed to some other pretty great channels as well. There's also places on the Discord where if you have suggestions about what you'd like to see in the video series, you can make those suggestions. I've been talking for a really long time and I see a lot of tags. Goodness, you'd think without somebody to talk to, I'd shut up, but apparently I don't. Have you ever attended a March for Science? No, I have not, because we've not had one in Nova Scotia. And until recently, I had not even been on a plane to leave Nova Scotia, except once to go to Toronto for work, and that was 12 years ago. So I didn't leave Nova Scotia for 12 years. We're a pretty small place here. Beach. Do you think you have made any enemies on YouTube yet? Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely. there's somebody, there's a specific person who hates me quite a bit and is very vocal about it, but I don't I don't like to give him attention. I would rather him scream in the dark. So you can go ahead and continue doing that. I'm not going to direct anybody to him because that would be what he wanted. But yes, absolutely. It's an unfortunate side effect of being a visible atheist, is that what my motto would be to always try as best I can to take the high road. I mean, I stumble. I'm human. There's been streams that I've been on that I've, raised my voice and slightly lost my temper, but I own it. And yeah, but yeah, I have. I've made some enemies. Okay, so look at Shane. Thanks, Shane. You're doing such a good job modding, Shane. Look at him. Thanks. All right. Where am I and how did I find myself here? I don't know, Matthew. I don't know. You stumbled across this channel, but you're welcome here. Thank you for coming. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer it for you. Making my thumb. Speaking of blank, is there any use? Is there any use of Jungian-based therapy? Don't know a lot about Jungian-based. My field is perceptual cognition and communication therapy. Or communication theory. I'm sorry. I never studied therapy, really. I studied some community psychology, so I studied some group-based therapy, but I don't like to speak towards things that I'm not familiar with. I'm not going to blow smoke up your bum. I have maybe it'd be something interesting to look into, but I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you. Are there any other questions? Oh my gracious, it's going to be the world's fastest live stream. It's just going to be me saying thank you. I can't believe I have 5,000 subscribers. It's crazy, guys. Like, crazy. I don't even understand how to process it yet, really, to be honest with you. Maybe the best thing that I can do is actually post a video. So there's something for you guys to watch. I'm working on it. It's coming. Mundane, non-sciencey question. Do you have any pets? No, I do not. I used to. I had 2 cats. I had a cat named Pepper, who I had when I moved out at 18, and a cat named Zaya that I got probably about 5 years later. But they both passed away, actually. They passed away when my son was very young. And now I don't have any pets at all. I could have a cat if I wanted to in this apartment, but I've always had a pet my whole entire life until they both passed away. And it's kind of nice having the freedom to just, when I leave my house, I just leave. And I come back when I feel like it. I don't have to worry about what state it's going to be in. So that's nice. Okay, here's a question actually for both Shannon Q and Paulogia. Have you guys seen Tim Chaffee and Eric Hogan's new podcast over biblical issues? No, I have not, but that would be intriguing to watch. I have had Eric's co-host Ben Shetner on the Heathen Hour podcast and chatted to him. He's a really nice guy. We got along well with him. I don't think Eric's our fan. He's not a big fan of Paul and I. And no, him and AIG are aware of us and they don't like us very much. They refer to me. What did they refer to me in the article that they wrote? They referred to me as the atheist participant, and they refer to Paul as a disgruntled father. They won't use our names. They smack talk us using euphemism for us, unpleasant ones. 5,000 subs for you isn't crazy. We're all pretty smart for recognizing how wonderful you are. Oh, Grandmama, that's so sweet. Thanks. That's really, really sweet. Any thoughts on when the best way to start talking to your kids about sex? Oh, okay. I would wait until they ask. And when you are speaking to them, be honest. The best thing that you can do is be honest. Answer their direct questions with honest answers. That would be the best thing that I can say. And also gauge what your kid is capable of understanding. I wouldn't over expound upon things, especially if they're really, really young. But if a young child asks you a direct question about something, you should give them an honest answer. That would be my advice there. Shannon Q, do you wear socks to bed? I actually hate socks. I hate them. I wear flip-flops as soon as the snow is off the ground, and I only wear socks if I have to in my sneakers and my boots. And as soon as I get home, I take them off because I hate them. Don't like socks. And I usually put on, I have like, they look kind of like Ugg-like boots. I wear those around the house to keep my feet warm because I hate socks. I don't like them. Matthew Tilly asks, how do you feel about Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson? What are your profound thoughts, etc.? I don't hate Jordan Peterson as much as other people seem to. I think that he's a bit wishy-washy, and he potentially could just sort of be audience pandering, and that might be why his messages seem to be so all over the board. Like, you can't really pin him down on a direct answer. One thing that frustrates me about him is that one of his 12 rules is that you should be concise in your speech, clear and concise in your speech, and he is not clear and concise in his speech, and that's frustrating. So I can't pin down what he clearly thinks about any one thing, and that's frustrating to me. Sam Harris, I like Sam Harris. I've read a couple of his books. The Moral Landscape was really, really great, and so is Free Will. Those were both really fantastic reads. I'm certain that we don't share opinions on everything, though. The questions of morality are the ones that I grapple with the most, and those are the conversations that I find the most interesting, which is why I gravitated towards this book. I enjoyed watching the two of them interact. I sided a bit more with Harris. I do think that sometimes he makes religion in general out to be more harsh and violent than it is on the whole. For the average day-to-day person, I mean, I'm an anti-theist, so I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's great for different reasons than Sam Harris. I don't like anything that I don't like any ideological constraints being put on anybody's cognition. I don't like the idea of people having to fit their perceptions into a pre-existing framework that's, to my mind, fallacious, and I think that can be dangerous. So I think both of them have some positions that they share with me, and some places where we deviate. I think a lot of Peterson's work on archetypes is interesting from a psychological perspective, because to a certain degree, I find those valid. But I haven't read 12 Rules for Life yet. And I'd like to read, I can't remember the name of the book that he wrote on morality, but I'd like to read them, actually. Before I form a full opinion of him, I'd like to actually read them. I've only ever been exposed to him through, YouTube videos that I've seen of his lectures and his debates, and YouTube videos that he's posted on his channel. So I'm trying not to be biased by other people's opinions of him. And yeah, so I don't follow him super, super closely, but I have read quite a bit of what he did, just because it's all within the purview of what we do day to day here. All right, so, oh gosh. What would be my ideal job? The Mott way so. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My ideal job. When I went to school, what I wanted to do was work with the autistic to help them develop better communication strategies, specifically those who were nonverbal, by taking into consideration the fact that they have sensory perception issues. And a lot of our communication as humans is actually non-verbal. A lot of it is through our sensory perceptions. So I wanted to work with autistic people to develop better communication strategies so that they could bridge those gaps. That would be my ideal job, but that's not the field that I'm currently working in. Okay. Gosh, oh my God. hosting a podcast with GC full-time job would be your ideal job. Yeah. Yes, that's my ideal job. I take it back. My ideal job is being a full-time co-host of the Heathen Hour with Godless Cranium. Because if I'm not a full-time co-host with them, if the podcast goes to a place where either of us can be full-time, then no one will ever know who the guests are. The calendar will never be updated. So I'd have to, because otherwise the whole thing would just fall apart. I'm just kidding. Love you, Godless Cranium. Just kidding. And thank you. He's one of the main reasons that this channel is going on. Him and Paul and Steve McRae, I think, deserve as much of the credit as I do for this channel taking off, because they all threw me on their channel when nobody had any idea who I was at all, and just trusted that would work out. And I guess it did. All right. GC, hi there, you egocentric weirdo. That's fair. Has anybody ever asked me about the Trailer Park Boys? Yes, Keith, all the time. Actually, oddly enough, my father was on the Trailer Park Boys as an extra. And my best friend's dad, Richard, he played Phil Collins on the Trailer Park Boys. I haven't watched a lot of Trailer Park Boys, oddly enough, because I knew several of the people that were in the Trailer Park Boys. He played Phil Collins in the Trailer Park Boys. He ran like a burger shack or something. Richard was a really cool guy. He's passed away, unfortunately. He passed away a couple of years ago. But my best friend Sarah's father was on the Trailer Park Boys. So people ask me about it all the time. All the time. I got in a fight with Bubbles once, but that's a different story. Shannon, have you ever been on Godless Bitches? No, I don't know what Godless Bitches is. So no, I don't know. I don't know what they are. Maybe I'll go check them out. If they have a YouTube channel, I'll go check them out. Question: if a bear and a cougar get in a fight, who wins? Shrew pass. Oh gosh. Probably the cougar. The cougar's gonna be quicker than the bear, I think. I'm gonna go cougar. I'm gonna go cougar on that. That's my final answer. I'm gonna go cougar. I know, Kendall. No, I don't know what Godless Bitches is. Isn't that awful? That's awful, right? Apparently that's awful. Is it a YouTube channel? I'll look it up. I'll find out who they are. Maybe I'll like them. Maybe they're cool. Yeah, sorry, Dorna Hood. Yeah, I did. I got into a fight with him. He's being a jerk. Yeah. I doubt that he would remember. I'm probably not worth remembering to him, but I remember it. It was at a casino. They're part of the atheist community of Boston. Oh, well, I could ask Eric about them then. Eric would know. I know some people in the atheist community of Boston. Bubble story. Oh, God. For us new subs, subscribe through Paulogia. Who are you and what is it that you do? I'm Shannon Q. I make videos about the intersection between psychology and atheism. And I also focus on better communication strategies so that people who are in this realm or just coming out as atheists or, on the fence as atheists and are looking to have discussions or dialogues can learn potentially how to have better conversations in a contentious environment. And I also have live streams where we have theists on with atheists or theists on with myself or, groups of atheists to discuss ideas and model more constructive dialogues. So that's what I do. And there's playlists on my channel. If you are brand new here and this is your first time looking, welcome. Hi. And please go check them out. Let me know what you think. There's a new Discord server that I just launched today. That link in the description. You can click on that and join the Discord and let me know what you think there, or you can leave a comment on the video. I'm pretty good at monitoring the comments on the videos to see if anybody says anything that I need to attend to. I can't recall, Shannon Q. Have you covered the angry atheist phase? No, I haven't, Beach, but that's actually a really good thing to cover. Something interesting is that there hasn't been a lot of research that I'm gonna go into psych mode for a sec because It's an interesting question. There hasn't been a lot of focused research on coming out until the past probably decade and a half, maybe about 15 years. And even in the last 15 years, probably in the last 10 years, is really starting to focus research. There's not a wide breadth of research. Most of the research had to do with religion, and the non-religion was essentially a catch-all category. So if you went to church on, when you were younger and no longer go to church anymore, you could potentially identify yourself as non-religious and fall into the same category, even though you believed in a God, and fall into the same category as in these studies as somebody who was then an atheist or agnostic. And there definitely wasn't a differentiation between an atheist or an agnostic. And most of the studies were focused on benefits or the detriments of being religious, and not specifically focused on atheists and atheist issues. So there just really isn't the breadth of research that I wish there was, but it's starting to come out. It's starting to come out. One of the things that is interesting is that there is kind of an angry phase. There's a syndrome I've been looking into. I'm not comfortable enough with it yet to do a video about it. I need to do a lot more research, but it's called RTSD, I think, religious trauma syndrome. And it's similar to a post-traumatic stress disorder that can take place when people deconvert abruptly from a religion. And it has to do with the fact that, you are essentially kind of torn away from everything you knew about your life. You have to reestablish a self-identity. You have to figure out the way that you think about things now. You identify thought patterns that seemed natural and innate to you that now seem foreign, and you have to fight against them. You, at the same time, could have family and friends that are shunning you. You could have to rebuild an entirely new community. So it's a very, very, very real thing. And those factors can contribute to that rage, along with the feeling as though you have been lied to and feeling as though you were able to be deceived. That's a big one. And I think that one is bigger than people grant it credit for. We like to think that we think things through pretty well and that our opinions are justified. So when something happens and there's a paradigm shift and you have to change something that big, specifically and particularly if you've had it as a really ingrained part of your life for a very, very, very long time, realizing that you were thinking wrong, that's something very difficult to grapple with. And some people can go through sort of a cathartic phase where they essentially kind of like take that out on the world. They take that anger out on the world, and they start to become very, very militant, and they project, because they see the behaviors in others that they used to see in themselves, and now that makes them angry, because when they look back on themselves, they're mad at themselves, because at that point in time, from their perspective, they were being deceived. So when they see that in others, they can get angry. Not everybody does it, but it is something that I think is more prevalent than people realize. Prevalent enough that it's taken note of, and it's it's definitely worth addressing. You have great suggestions. Hi, Michael. How are you? Right. We don't hate you. We just think you're wrong. That's Eric. I recognize that. Because you're the only human being. I didn't go through an angry atheist stage. I'm still feeling sad and humiliated. Oh, don't feel sad and humiliated. Don't you dare feel humiliated. Don't be silly. We were, a lot of us, I was going to say we were all, but it's a grand majority of us were very, very religious once. I was. I know Paul was. I know many, many other of my counterparts were. And I've always said my IQ didn't change 1 point the day that I deconverted. I just answered a question differently. So you've changed your mind before about a million things. None of them maybe were as noteworthy because they weren't such a prevalent part of society, and there wasn't so much community structure an emphasis on that portion. But you've changed your mind about a million things before. You changed your mind about this too. There's no need to be humiliated. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. I don't feel like I should be humiliated. We were raised ingrained with this. It's not necessarily even indoctrination because, our parents were raised in the same fashion. Our society emphasizes it. So there's no need to don't be humiliated. Please don't. Don't do that to yourself. No. Shannon says no. Don't do that. Be happy and content. Don't be humiliated. All right. Okay. I'm so bad at monitoring this chat. I'm doing better than I usually do, though. Anybody who watches my live streams, I'm usually so ingrained in the conversation that I'm just horrible at paying attention to the chat. Over there as well. Yes, exactly. That's right. Biblical history skeptics, who is somebody that I just met yesterday and is fantastic. Go sub to his channel. I haven't watched his channel yet, but I bet it's amazing. He translated Mr. ID into English, and I've never seen the likes of it. I tried to talk to Mr. ID, and I didn't know what. He's great. Go sub to his channel. I'm sure it's fantastic. Aw, thanks, Wellington. I think that is good advice. You shouldn't. Turning away from your spirit is impossible. More intuition comes from within. Oh, Bob, don't tell people that they should be humiliated. Please and thank you. That's not nice. Be a nicer person. Where's the hoodie? The hoodie is on a chair over there right now. I was cold last night. It was midnight when I was on Steve's channel last night, poking him about agnosticism, because annoying Steve McRae is like my favorite hobby. It's like my favorite thing to do. Wellington asks, are there stages of deconversion similar to stages of mourning, angry, bargaining, depression? No, there are problems with stages of grief, but you know what I mean. Potentially, I think that might be case by case. It all depends on how deeply ingrained you were. Like if everything about your identity is tied up in it, like if you're a real fundamentalist and you've led your life strictly by those principles, and then to your own detriment, if you've missed out on things that you would have rather done because you thought they were a sin, for example, or if you've broken relationships with people, like just say you're a Jehovah's Witness, you've broken relationships with people that you felt you had to shun that were very, very important to you, and you come out of it, then you are going to go through phases, probably similar to those of grief. But not everybody deconverts in that fashion. So for some people, it's a softer landing, and it's a more natural transition than for others. So in all cases, I think there's a little bit of a sense of loss and a degree of confusion. It's not an easy thing to realize that how you think is so deeply tied into something that has been dictated to you, right? Something that exists outside of you that, either has been imposed upon you or you have imposed upon yourself artificially. And once those thought patterns are ingrained, they're so natural to you that you don't even realize that they are. So coming out of that, it can be incredibly difficult because you can still catch yourself going into your old habits of thought processes when you're analyzing situations. I mean, I've spoken to people who spent their entire life, for example, thinking that a homosexual person, deserved to burn in hell, shouldn't be associated with, shouldn't be affiliated with, and then they come out of their religion, they still, unbeknownst to them, have that bigotry, but they didn't attribute it to the religion until later on because it became so ingrained in them. Like little things like that are difficult. But not everybody goes through like a stages grieving process. I would think it would be step by step. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there's not a massive amount of research. I'm starting to uncover more as time goes on. But it's pretty new within the field to have any research at all specifically on deconversion and the impacts that it has on people. Well, it's exciting that it is happening now. Really exciting that it is happening now. Probably because it's becoming more prevalent. Yay. I mean, not yay. No, yay. Sorry. I mean, yay. I do disagree with what Shannon is saying now. Though not religious, was very angry when I finally accepted I was an atheist. At the same time, I was learning about YEC and science. Okay, so I'm not sure why you disagree, because I said that it could happen, but that it was case by case. If I didn't articulate that well enough, I'll watch this back. I'm kind of going on the fly right now, so if I'm not articulating something well, and I don't have any source material here, then I apologize. I'll try to be more cognizant. But I think that, like I said earlier, you definitely can be angry. But it's case by case. With whom were you angry? Okay. Going on the fly. Poor fly. Oh, God. Is that a maritime thing too? I keep uncovering phrases that are specifically Nova Scotian phrases that I'm discovering through Paul. Like, I'll say things like, are we going to go out and run the roads? And Paul didn't know what that meant. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what that meant? Or what a sin. We were out with my cousin, and me and my cousin were saying, oh, that happened to her. What a sin. And apparently that's a Nova Scotia thing. I didn't realize that. That means, oh, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad that happened to that person. So sometimes if I say stuff and it doesn't make sense, it's because it makes sense here. It just doesn't make sense anywhere else in the world, I guess. And yeah, the obligatory Canadian apology. That's right. Sorry. I don't know what I said, but I'm sorry. Kendall, yelling at Theist is the very best method to get them to come over to our side. And that's the only reason I said what I said. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with Brant on that one, but I know Brant's being silly. He doesn't mean that. Do I know anything about the process of converting from atheist skeptic to religious? If that were to ever happen, it does happen. It absolutely happens. There are people that convert from, it's more rare, I think, that convert from atheism to some form of religion. Generally, it seems to be, and this is anecdotal, this is just based on conversations I've had with people. This is not based on research, so this is not a professional opinion. Generally, it seems to be based on some form of personal spiritual experience that they have attributed to a religion of some sort. That seems to be my, like I said, anecdotal experience. If you have a personal religious experience that you can't explain away otherwise, or don't have the tools to explain otherwise, then that can happen. But it's far more rare. Statistically, it's far more rare. I'm confident in saying that. Can I talk about my education and the most important classes I took? Oh, yeah, sure. If you want me to be a nerd again. So I went to St. Mary's University. That was my degree. Before that, okay, so here's the rundown, I guess. Initially, I went to Mount St. Vincent University, and I took English and a little bit of philosophy and some history and kind of a mishmash of stuff, but predominantly I took English and math when I was there. I was going to be a teacher. That was my initial intent when I went into university. However, I discovered psychology. So I took a couple of intro to psychology courses while I was at Mount St. Vincent University, and they really resonated with me. I'm a bit of an socially awkward person, or was. I'm better now than I used to be. And the communication aspect of things, understanding how to communicate messages to people effectively, really, that's what resonated with me most of all, which is why I went into that field. Mount St. Vincent didn't have a great psychology department, so I picked up and transferred all of my credits to St. Mary's University because around here they had the best psychology department. So that's where I went. When I went to St. Mary's University, I had so many credits that were just, a hodgepodge from Mount St. Vincent that I From the moment I walked through the doors there until the moment I graduated, I took nothing but concentrated psychology courses. The most important courses that I took were the courses that had to do with perceptual cognition. So I took perceptual cognition courses straight up through. And neurology. Neural pharmacology was a course that I really, really liked. I took a couple neural pharmacology courses. I took several courses on perceptual cognition. I took a couple other, I took the psychology of aging, child psychology, the basic courses that you have to take. Took human factors, which was actually really, really interesting. Played a lot more into cognition than I realized, because it's essentially about, it's a type of industrial organizational psychology. It's about the usability of things. So it's how to account for human error when they're interfacing with, objects, machines, other people in the workplace. But I'm digressing. All right. So the most important courses that I took were the perceptual cognition, neurology courses, and courses on environmental factors as well. So how we interact with our environment. Those are the courses that I enjoyed the most. And then I took communication strategy courses. So I took courses about how we perceive things and then how we take those perceptions and turn them into articulation, and how others perceive you when you're speaking. Ultimately, I constructed a thesis on how I can best articulate this. There's probably so many questions going by. I'm so sorry, because I'm going to talk about thesis now. My thesis research was constructed for my seminar on whether or not the perceived control over a conversation has any effect on your perception and rating, for lack of a better word. There's a better word than that. Your perception and rating on your conversation partner. So I had several control groups set up, and essentially you were primed with a preamble that said, this is the interaction that you're about to enter into. It's a person that you don't really know very well. It's like a neighbor, somebody that you just kind of know their first name. You wave to say hi, and you're walking into a grocery store and you come across each other. And then there would be two different types of interaction, one where that person kind of talks at you, and another one where that person asks you questions to elicit. And it would be on a video, and you'd be reading off the responses essentially to a video. So it was an artificial conversation. And you would rate those people. And then the second portion of that was a different preamble, but the same conversation. So the preamble was different, but you would walk into the conversation and you would just be listening to the other person talk. And in both groups, the person that was talking was saying the exact same things, but the only thing different was the preamble and your cues to the talking points. So when you're having that artificial conversation, instead of one group would use cue words where they would say something along the lines of, oh, why don't you tell me a bit more about your day? And then the person would talk about how their day went. And in the other group, you would just say something innocuous, like something like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like a general, but the response would be the same. And it turns out that the people in the group, despite the fact that the conversation partner was identical in both groups, whether or not you elicited the responses from them or they volunteered the responses, directly related to how you rated them on a likability scale and a likability scale, even though it's a video. They're the same video that they were both watching. So it was interesting. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So ask me about my education. That's what happens. Sorry. Anybody else have a question? Honestly, despite being an atheist, I find that people want to pray for me. It's nice. Yeah. Well, okay. So we're talking, I see a conversation in the chat about when people want to pray for you, or people say they pray for you. I think that it all comes down to intent. If they legitimately feel that that is going to do good for you, then they're doing it out of a place where they intend good things for you. They're not doing it to your detriment. We would feel as though that's not going to do anything, but to them, they feel like they are doing something. So I wouldn't be upset with people if they say they're going to pray for you, if it's coming from a place of love and concern. Oh, I'm hired. I don't know what my job is, but yay, I can't. Or did somebody else get hired? I don't know who got hired. All right. Iron Raw is addicting, and so is Shannon. Oh, thanks. I'm not sure how addicting I am, but thanks, guys. Thanks so much, especially to the patrons. I will get a new laptop, and that'll make things easier one day. I have like $400 so far. I think I spent 100 and something on the lights and the green screen, which aren't up now because my kid's here and he just trash it as soon as he woke up in the morning and it's late. But yeah, so thanks especially to everybody who's ever sent a super chat, who's clicked on a video, who's a patron, who's here right now. Thanks to all of you people. I feel like it's a very strange sensation with nobody on the other side of this screen to talk with. I feel like I'm just talking to myself in an empty room. That's what being a YouTuber is. It's just talking to yourself in an empty room. that sums up being a YouTuber. All right, so I've got to go to bed relatively soon, probably in about, I could go for about 10 more minutes if anybody has any other questions. Oh, any ideas on how to support young fundamentalist women who are being abused by husbands but can't leave because the Bible forbids it? Oh, that's a tough one. There are I'm hesitant to refer them to any sort of church group that might give them shelter because I don't know that I could trust that they wouldn't try to convince them to go back to the husband. That is a really tough question. If they're a friend of yours, it would probably depend on the relationship with the person. If they're a friend with yours, I would just say just be as supportive as you can and maybe ask them some sort of epistemological questions to get them to sort of analyze why they're staying and look at their beliefs. But you have to do so in a very comforting way. You don't want to risk pushing somebody away who might need you. So this is difficult ground to tread. I'm not sure that I can give you an answer off the cuff here that would do that question justice. But that is a really good question. Beach, you're just loading me up with video ideas to do research for today. That is a good question. That's a tough question. I would grapple with that. I would have to be very soft with the person and supportive. Always be supportive and be available would be the best thing that I could say. I'm not armed with the answer to that question right now, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can't give that for you. A question on Twitter. Oh, okay. When you made a mistake and apologized but still feel terrible, what do you do? Oh, okay. So if you made a mistake and you apologize, you still feel terrible. Guilt's a natural thing. If you've apologized to the person and have done so sincerely, and have done your best to counteract and offer some sort of affordance for the error you've made, it depends on the error you made. So if you've wrecked somebody's life, sometimes apologies aren't enough, right? If you've really caused somebody harm, sometimes just saying I'm sorry isn't enough. So I would first have a look at, what did you do? What were the ramifications of what you did? What, aside from an apology, have you done to rectify that situation? And if you can answer that you've done everything within your power and the person still won't accept your apology, or even if they have accepted your apology and you're still feeling guilty, I would strongly suggest just kind of going through the steps that you took and understanding that you can't change what happened. You can only make choices about how you're going to conduct yourself going forward and living a life when you've already done everything you can to rectify a situation that you may have caused. Living a life where you're filled with guilt is no good for you or anybody around you. And that person may have already let it go. So you should be able to do so as well. That would be my advice in that situation. We don't have a lot of control over what happens to us, and we certainly don't have the control to change what happened in the past. The only thing we do have control over is the choices that we make going forward. So identify that and really think about it, and you can't just turn emotions off, but hopefully that'll help to wear down that guilt, so long as you've done everything you can to rectify. She follows voices. Don't tell Shannon Q that she's talking to herself. I'm already aware that I'm talking to myself. Well, I suppose you guys can hear me, so I'm not really talking to myself. Oh, are there some people I'd love to have a conversation with but haven't had the chance yet? I've talked to so many people. I've been very, very lucky. Like I've talked to Saitan, I've talked to Aaron Ra. I'm talking to Seth Andrews next month, which is going to be pretty cool. I'd actually love to talk to Sam Harris. I'd love to ask him some questions, and I'd like to. I feel like a lot of people either go soft or go too hard on Jordan Peterson when they're talking to him. I'd really like to try to, without attacking what he believes, just try to better understand what he believes. I mean, that's a lofty goal. Probably not going to happen. I'd also really, really, really like to talk to. Well, these are all super lofty. This is silly. This is never gonna happen. But anyway, I'd really like to talk to Richard Dawkins one day, just to say hi. If I could resurrect anybody from the dead, I'd like to talk to Christopher Hitchens. But yeah, anybody that I haven't talked to probably in this YouTube realm that I'd like to talk to. I mean, I've talked to Hugo and Jake. I've talked to Logic. I've talked to. I wouldn't mind having a chat with Armored Skeptic someday, because I don't really know what he's all about. I can't quite peg him. It just confuses me a little bit. So yeah, I'd like to talk to him. I'd love to talk to Eric Hovind. Oh, that's the one. That's the one. I'd love to talk to Eric Hovind. That's the one right there. Yeah, I'd love to talk to him. That one's realistic, I think, and I'd just like to talk to him. But I think he might be a little bit sneaky. Like I don't like it when you're trying to have a general conversation with somebody and they're a nonstop apologist mode. It makes it very, very difficult to have a normal conversation if they're just waiting for an opportunity to present their apologetics, as opposed to really just have an honest, casual conversation, which I think it might be kind of like with him. All right, so I could probably take like one more question, maybe. Hello from Quebec. Hi. Hello from Nova Scotia. Eric is so handsome, Brant. Hey, sorry. What's my favorite dinosaur? Okay, well, right now my kid is obsessed with Mosasaurus. So, which isn't a dinosaur. Oh, that's awful. It's not a dinosaur. Clearly not a paleontologist. T-Rex. I'll say T-Rex. T-Rex is my favorite dinosaur. Eric Oven is a sneaky little friend. That's funny. Everybody thinks Eric's pretty hot. Hear that, Eric? Eric, if you're listening, everybody thinks you're pretty hot. And also, some people think you're sneaky, but at least you're hot. So there's that. Do I know Stairway to Reason yet? He would be good to have on the show. No, I don't. My gracious, please join the Discord server, and in the live stream, there's a sub chat thing. Jesus, I'm bad at Discord. There's under I think it's called video suggestions. There's 4 subcategories because I have 3 series and then the live streams. So there's suggestions for the live streams and then suggestions for each one of the 3 series that I currently have going. So the Atheist Communications, the Atheist Insights, and the Psychology of Atheism. So if you have suggestions for those 3 or suggestions for guests for the live streams or topics for the live streams, please join the Discord and throw them in there. So that I can see them, and it helps me aggregate them too, because people throw stuff at you on Twitter and it just gets lost in the minutia of the holy smokes tags that I go on Twitter. So this is a great way for me to keep everything related to the channel and anybody who's interested in the channel together. So that would be super if you could do that. So yeah, I have to go to bed because it's midnight. This was just a quick, awesome thank you. It was actually really fun talking to myself in this room. Sorry I'm super awkward when I don't have a topic of conversation and I'm just, off the cuff. And thank you to everybody who joined the new Discord, everybody who subbed to the channel, to anybody who's new here to the channel. I'm generally more articulate than this, I think, most of the time. Go look through my stuff. It'll give you a better idea of what I'm like when I'm, prepared and don't decide to have a live stream an hour before the live stream and then just speak off the cuff. All right. Thanks to everybody who's a patron. Thanks to everybody who's ever sent a super chat. Thanks to everybody who's ever clicked on a video. Thanks to Paul, and thanks to Steve, and thanks to Godless Cranium, and thanks to Professor Stick, who I've collabed with, and Vice Rhino, who I've collabed with, and Mr. Atheist, who I've collabed with, and the Non Sequitur Show, who I've been on multiple times, and Godless Engineer, and KC, who are amazing and supportive. And thank you to Prophet of Zod, who has had me on his channel. Thank you to, who else's channel have I on? Oh my gosh, I'm probably forgetting so many people. Atheist Edge. Thank you to the ladies of Deconversion, who I am a part of, and I can't believe I forgot to mention them up until now. Oh, thanks, Shane. Yay, super chat. Woohoo, computer fund. Thank you to, oh my gosh, who else have I collabed with? I've been on so many channels. Thank you to Modern Day Hysteria for having me on his channel. Thanks for King Crocoduck, who I've done conversations with. The Geek Room, whose channel I've been on. The Great Debate Community. Paul from Paulogia. Did I say I love you? You're the best. And holy smokes, I'm probably forgetting people. And if I am, I'm sorry. He's Super Skeptic. Thank you. I was on his channel and I've helped him with videos. And Hith, who had me on his podcast, and oh my, wow, this is it's quite the epiphany. I've been on a lot of channels, and there's so many people I'm probably forgetting, and thank you to them as well. Oh, Holy Kool-Aid. I can't believe I forgot Holy Kool-Aid. And Drew, Genetically Modified Skeptic. Holy smokes. One of the first videos I ever did for Paul's channel I did with Drew, and Holy Kool-Aid had me on before I even had a channel. I was on his channel, and he's helped me with lots of stuff. Drew and Thomas hooked me up with the best links to put in the description so that people could have support. And there's other people I'm forgetting, like Logic and Eseth. Oh, I'm going to do a collab with Eseth coming up really, really soon. And Logic and Eseth are just really cool people, and they're good friends. That I'm friends with them outside of this realm, and they're awesome. Everybody already subscribes to them anyway. I'm doing a collab with Eseth soon. And yeah, I do get around. It's true. It's a true story. I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. Go check out those people's channels. If you're not subbed to the 48 people that I just streamed off, go sub to them. They're pretty amazing. And help elevate the discourse. Bye.